by the Tirana municipality in the Laprak area as part of the New Ring project, with the owner and his wife being removed by police after attempting to prevent the action. Instat has started the preparations for a national census to be conducted in 2020, where a reduction in the country's population is expected to be observed as a result of increased emigration. The Armed Forces of the Republic of Albania today celebrate the 106th anniversary of their establishment, with their greatest achievement so far being considered the appointment as a NATO member. Good evening, it's 6 o'clock on Tuesday the 4th of December 2018. Welcome to the English edition of Aura News. My name is Alexandra and I'm here to bring you the day's top stories from across the country translated into English. The Democratic Party has warned they will escalate protest actions in support of residents affected by the New Ring project. From Lapraka, where today the first dwelling was destroyed without the residents' accord, Democratic Party MP Clevis Baliu said that they should follow the example made by the European citizens of France. This is what it means to win for Edi Rama, to demolish a citizen's home. The residents have tried to talk with the state police and to discuss with the municipality directors. These citizens have respected the state police, said Clevis Baliu. I ask the citizens to follow the example of France and to put the state in their place as it is needed. We will follow the example set by our fellow European citizens. These people in power deserve revolt and protest against them, concluded Baliu. The resident whose apartment was destroyed today in Lapraka declared to have asked police and the municipality for 3 days to remove their household furniture. I asked for 3 more days just to remove things and to carry out legal proceedings, but I was not allowed this. I do not understand why the state acts against us so violently. It is psychological violence. I don't understand. I asked for just 3 days' time. The demolition of the dwellings affected by the New Ring Road project extends to the destruction of a 2-storey object. As the bulldozer was about to demolish the object, it was noted that 5 residents remained inside and refused to leave. For them, the dwelling is the result of a lifetime of blood, sweat and tears, and they are not ready to be separated from it. Bayram Nela, a resident of Laprak, speaks for Aura News. We will resist until the end. We will not leave the house. Erion Veliai cannot pull the wool over my eyes with a simple candy. I've been working for this house for 30 years. The dwelling was in the process of legalisation, but was then disqualified. We have appealed because the decision of disqualification is not justified, and we expect justice, called Bayram Nela. When the court says that the New Ring project is legal and makes a decision on my dwelling, then I will allow that decision to be enforced. I know the law and I want the state to apply the law. Police have come here without the required documents, concluded Nela. The residents of Shkoza have clashed again today with the National Territory Defence Inspectorate, who continued the demolition action for the new construction project. The National Territory Defence Inspectorate conducted an action overnight which saw the demolition of a dwelling. Residents express concern and seek documents in order to be eligible to benefit from the rental bonus or social housing. This house may seem small to you, but for me, it is a castle, says one resident, adding, send me a letter stating that my residence is being demolished by the state so that when I leave tomorrow, I can be assured that I have a place to go. Homeowners warn that protests will continue to escalate against the demolition of their homes. I bought the land with my hard-earned lek and no one can take it from me, said another resident. Yesterday, the National Territory Defence Inspectorate withdrew from their plan to demolish certain dwellings as a result of the residents' resistance. Meanwhile, the Democratic Party has distributed a video of an uninhabited dwelling being destroyed. Accompanied by a big entourage of police forces, they have approached these houses. In the video, you can see what seem to be traumatised children. Instead of going to school, children are staying with their parents and helping to protect their homes, concluded the Democratic Party in their announcement to the media. The statistics of Albanians will be recalculated in 2020. The Institute of Statistics has started preparations for the development of the national census in order to identify the demographics of the country's citizens. According to data collected back in 2011, Albania's population is 2.8 million. But in this 8-year period, there is evidence of an increase in emigration, which according to experts has led to an overall reduction in the population. The fund provided for the purpose of conducting the census is expected to reach about €15.8 million. Providing information for the experts who will appear in each dwelling will be obligatory, with those who object risking fines of up to 100,000 lek. All the essential questions of the census, except questions about religious affiliation and belonging to ethno-cultural groups, will be subject to verification of authenticity, said Delina Ibrahimi, the director of Instat. The ethnic group will again be part of the census, though the chair of the Unity for Human Rights Party, Vanjal Dule, demanded that the term ethno-cultural be used instead of national minority. The resulting data will be published online. The census will seek out information relating to recorded household income, migration, type of housing, level of education, employment status, ethno-cultural identities and religious beliefs, as well as information relating to the number of foreign immigrants residing in our country. The Court of Tirana held another court session today for the case in which Democratic Party Chair Lulzim Basha has been sued by the Socialist Party's Parliamentary Group Chair Talon Bala for defamation. Talon Bala was present at the hearing while the Democratic Party Chair Lulzim Basha was not, instead choosing to be represented by his attorneys Evie Casso and Guzman Bardi. Talon Bala's lawyer responded to the statements made by the lawyers of Lulzim Basha in an earlier session. Bala's lawyers determined that Lulzim Basha's declarations in the plenary session regarding the Toyota Yaris issue were defamatory and demanded Basha be sentenced for the offence of defamation. Talon Bala himself accused Lulzim Basha of making statements which are false. Lulzim Basha is the one linked with accused criminals, not me, said Talon Bala, before presenting a picture of Lulzim Basha in his office with the brother of an individual accused of drug trafficking. But Judge Gerd Hoja refused to take this as evidence. According to Bala, the statement in the parliament made by Basha was a signalling to the criminal groups that their trafficking organisation had been discovered. For me, he has endangered national security. I have addressed this issue with the prosecution and they have opened an investigation into the charge of leaking investigative secrets. Every one of us is obliged to report to the prosecutor where there is such information being made public. If he has such knowledge that I was involved, why does he not reveal the source of the information received, said Bala. According to the statements made by Lulzim Basha, he has received information from trustworthy sources of an investigation, which according to him proves his statements to be true and not in the nature of defamation, responded the lawyers defending Basha. The next session is scheduled for the 18th of December. After approving the budget with only the votes of the majority, the Socialist Movement for Integration has accused the government of destroying the economy. The Socialist Movement for Integration's parliamentary group chair has even compared public-private partnerships with pyramid schemes. Petrit Vasili continued with allegations against the government as he made the comparisons between the firms who have been awarded the contracts with that of companies running pyramid schemes. He also said that public-private partnership agreements will increase public debt to 80%. According to Vasili, the international experts have also called for a ban on such tender deals on the grounds that they are destroying the economy. The SMI have declared they will continue their denunciations against these public-private partnership contracts. 6 days after the declaration of independence in Vlora on December 4th, 1912, the Ministry of Defence for Albania was established, along with the National Army. The first Albanian Defence Minister was Mehmet Rala, while the General Headquarters was headed by Ali Shkupi. At that time, Albania's army consisted of 12,000 people in combined active and reserve forces. The beginning of World War II gave both the Albanian army and the Albanian state a severe shock. At the time of the war, the role of the army was taken over by the National Anti-Fascist Liberation Forces, which in November 1944 reached a considerable number of personnel at about 70,000, representing almost 70% of the country's population. After the war, the army began to function as a normal corps in peacetime, and the number of personnel fell to 27,000. In the early 1990s, the Albanian army was reformed by removing the symbols of communism as evidence of the transformation into a depoliticized army. After a request was issued back in 1992 to become part of NATO, on the 1st of April 2009, Albania finally became part of the North Atlantic Alliance. This is the greatest achievement of the armed forces. In 2010, forced military service was removed from the nation's legislation. Currently, the Albanian army has an active staff of 8,500 people and 14,000 are in reserve. The army owns an air fleet of 23 transport helicopters, 688 combat vehicles, 28 patrol boats and 2 combat ships. Current Minister Olta Jajka is the 34th Minister of this department since 1912. Meanwhile, the Minister who held this post for the longest term was Bashir Bulaku, who has headed up this department for 21 years from 1953 until 1974. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join us again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.